What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back with career modes, episode number 46. This time for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's a very familiar circuit with me. I've been racing here a lot. F1 Manager, Creator Series, Co-op as well. There should be no excuses this weekend. This is a must-win race. We are in a championship fight with McLaren, with Fernando Alonso. So hopefully we can capitalize at one of our strongest circuits. Please leave a like and subscribe if you guys are excited for this series to return. And hopefully F1 23, which is only just around the corner. There was some teased images coming out today from the time I'm recording this. New season, fresh starts. Lovely stuff. Hopefully that means we get a fresh new game, fresh new handling model. Who knows? I don't know. I'm speculating. I don't know what they have in store just yet, but hopefully we've got some news soon. So yeah, make sure you keep an eye out for that juicy video to come out once it is revealed. Anyway, I am spending my money on myself. This is an area of the game you literally forget about sometimes, especially in my team, where the focus is really on the car, not so much the driver. We're just upgrading everything from the likes of development boost to engine saving. I think that's pretty important. The social media team perk is less relevant now, but we may as well splash the cash while we can. So, yeah, it's all going to pay for itself, and I imagine, yeah, we're going to be swimming in all the dosh once we start winning some races, once we start getting some more momentum. We are getting there as a team. Porsche, we're doing okay, but, yeah, we've been really limited on funds up until, like, the midway point of this season. After getting rid of Mark Webber, things are starting to churn in the right direction for us, so I'm looking forward to that. But in terms of upgrades, we are running out of things we can actually buy. We need Spec 3 on the engine, and then we can fully do that department. Every other department, though, is pretty much maxed out. So we got like one more upgrade on the chassis, one more upgrade on the aero, and I think we're pretty much there. So the car is in a good shape at the moment, but we're not quite there with the front runners. We've just been very lucky this season with strategy, with luck, simulation damage. It has thrown up some very spicy races. That is an ultimate front downforce upgrade, which we could get on in time for Mexico, but given that we're not really limited on resource points anymore, I think it's actually worth going for the rushed upgrade. But before we do that, we're seeing if we can increase the quality control or the build time. Quality control is maxed out there, but we're looking for quality control on the aero side. It's 12 mil for the final upgrade there. We don't have the funds for that, big man, so we're just going to have to rush the upgrades and just hope that it doesn't fail. That's the strategy there. So hopefully, rush front upgrade for the Japanese Grand Prix will be the one. Apart from that, we need to save our pennies or take out a massive bank loan, because we've got some saving to do to get our engine department to Spec 3 in the facilities. No more sizable upgrades after this, I imagine. So it's going to be pretty rough from here on out. But we are slowly closing in on the front runners. You can see they're, I don't know, less than 50 performance points away. Maybe 20 to 30 performance points away, which is not that much, to be honest. That's a good setup adjustment. That's, you know, an informed driver making up the difference between being, what is it, 4th, 5th best team and fighting for wins, which is what we've been doing. We've been driving pretty well this season, and I see no reason why that can't continue. Time for quali. Alright then, time for the Singapore Grand Prix. I love this place, as you guys know, but as of late, if you've been following the career mode journey, I know it's been very hard to follow with the inconsistent uploads, but for the last few races, we've been having some crazy tyre wear due to the mid-season regulation changes. The tyres basically melt, and as such, we've had to go for the harder compound strategy this weekend. We're probably going to have to do like 2 sets of hards and a set of mediums to get through this Grand Prix. Even the mediums that have only done 1 lap here are on 4%. So that just puts it in perspective how crazy the tire wear is going to be today. I imagine there's going to be some drama with the AI, punctures and the like, some crashes. It has been pretty wild this season, and I see this place as no exception. Anyway, this is qualifying 1. We only have 2 sets of softs to get us through qualifying, hence why we're on the mediums. So if we can sail through Q1 on just this tire, which would be a bit of a luxury really, then that really sets us up well for the rest of the weekend. Up to the line, it's a 35.8, and we are provisionally on pole position, or at top of the timesheets, on our harder compounded tyre. Tiametmarduk is only 5/10 ahead of us on the soft. So the delta between the soft and the medium is like 7/8 tenths. So we've actually done a great job there to get within that delta of our teammates. And I think with that, we're probably safe, given that we're so highly elevated in the order with our car upgrades now. I think we have the cushion to get through, given we're only 6/10 away from provisional pole at this stage. So we're going to fast forward time to the end of the session. The back markers are like 2 to 3 seconds off the pace. We come to the end, and everyone's done glitch times. That's all the track ramped up massively in those final 3 minutes. Or people didn't get a run in early on in the session. Maybe there was traffic. I don't know. We are now knocked out in qualifying 1 for this Singapore Grand Prix. Thanks. Appreciate that very much. And we only missed out, by the way, don't know if you missed it, by 0.04 of a second. On one of the longest circuits on the calendar. That is literally nothing.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging race. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Fernando Alonso yesterday puts him on pole position, and Robert Schwartzman completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Sainz, Sergio Perez, and Tiametmarduk, Magnussen, Leclerc, Hamilton, and Esteban Ocon, Norris, Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, and Russell, Albon, Mick Schumacher, Guan Yu Zhou, and Benjamin, Tictum, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, and Nicholas Latifi.
So we're in the mud then. Welcome to the grid of the Singapore Grand Prix. Guess you could say it's my home away from home, the second closest race to Australia than Australia. And it's a street circuit, so naturally I do feel at home at a place like this. Completely forget about the strategy of what you see on screen, or what you did see on screen originally. It is not going to be as simple as medium to hard to get home to the end. The tyre wear is always way harsher than what we expect. I'm expecting an F1 Manager Cota strategy here. Medium, hard, medium, or hard, medium, hard. It's going to be quite abrasive on the tyres, and dodging the safety cars and what have you. Getting on the right tyres at the right time is going to be absolutely crucial. This could be a highly RNG race, but that's the kind of race we want, given that we are at the back of the grid and it's going to be hard to overtake. So we'll take every opportunity we can. We're in a championship fight with Fernando Alonso, who is starting from pole position. His teammate, Robert Schwartzman, alongside in P2. McLaren have stranglehold on this championship. They have stranglehold on this race. They're in the driving seat, and we've got it all to do with less than 5 races remaining in this season. It's time for the Singapore Grand Prix then. Expect fireworks. This is gonna be spicy. 31 laps of street racing action, and we are underway for the Singapore Grand Prix. Hard compound tyres is always going to be the struggle for Tiametmarduk. Getting into turn 1, let's see if we can pick up a place or two. We get back past the Alfa Romeo. Thank you very much. That is 18th place for the taking. Dan Tictum getting mugged off there. Can we get Guan Yu Zhou as well? Not quite is the answer. Here comes Dan Tictum again. Former F2 driver tries to go up the inside. We have them all flying around the outside, and we're going to squeeze past his teammates. Use a bit of overtake. hopefully utilize the straight line speed of this Porsche Marduk Motorsport machine. And we, wow, we take P16 as well. Thank you very much, Albon, for leaving the door open. Sonoda going very slowly as he's backed up behind Schumacher and Norris. We slide around his outside on hard compound tires, no less. And take another one. P15, the AI, well, this is simulation damage. They are taking it very easy, but it's allowing us to make up so many places on these guys who don't seemingly have the racecraft at the moment. Can we get another one up the inside? No, we go round the outside as we run out of breath trying to get Schumacher. Thank you very much. At this point, I'm having to check whether the difficulty is on 50 or not. But no, I did pause after this lap, and I can assure you it is where it should be. It is way up there. So, yeah, just the AI being AI, I guess, on the first lap, being super cautious. It's very interesting comparing sim damage on this series to sim damage on co-op. They still make contact, even in the single-player experience. But when you're playing co-op or multiplayer with AI, there's a little bit of lag involved, and I really feel like that messes with their calculations or their movements and how they judge getting past people or not. And I think the result is they just become a lot more aggressive. They become a lot more jittery, and just weird things happen in online compared to single player. It's a lot more predictable in this series. I can a lot more confidently go for moves than what I can in co-op, but enough comparisons to co-op. Comparisons to be made now are the hard and the medium, and it looks like the hard is not the one now. Now that the AI, now everyone's had a chance of settling with their cars, with their tires, and where they're at with this race, they can now push on. I feel like we got up to the limit very, very quickly at the start of this race, really, and we haven't really moved on far beyond that ever since. It's just the AI now settling into a groove and just absolutely flying, making the most of those medium compound tires. I think the Delta is probably like a second a lap at this point. And yeah, it's going to take a while before we actually get into the groove. Gasly and Norris, a couple of clips ago, were fighting, and that brings Gasly into the battle with us. Maybe Gasly's got some damage. Could be side pod floor damage. Who knows? But either way, we're going to try and capitalize here with our hard compound tires. Gasly going defensive into turn one. We take that spot and move very nearly into the point. We're P12 now, just 2 more spots away from getting something out of this race. Here's the replay. Gasly going defensive. Not sure why. Still a long way to go in this race. We are on different strategies, but we have made the move stick. And yeah, we're just going to try and crack on with our strategy at this point. But again, tire wear proving to be very crucial. We'll get an update on that in a second, but it's been absolutely brutal, at least on our side. I imagine if the AI have got struggling with tire wear as much as I am, and I'm not sure that they are. They probably are, but I don't know for certain. I can never look at their numbers like you can in F1 Manager, for example, and see their literal exact percentages of their tire wear. It's all guesswork. But if they're struggling as much as I am, then they should be in a lap or two. So wait for that. The race should definitely open up for us very soon. Ocon is in, Perez is in. Those two guys are two of the best operators in the field when it comes to eking out tires in a long stint. So if they're boxing, expect everyone else in. And they are doing a 2-stop in this race, medium to medium for Sergio Perez in the Mercedes. Kevin Magnussen is in next in the Alpine. Not sure, didn't see what tire he went to. But we are now phasing into this race quite nicely. We are absolutely hounding this guy up ahead. I don't even know who we're on board with. It's Lando Norris in the Ferrari. Just all over him as his tires, his medium compound tires, are dead at this point. Pretty much everyone is in, and we are leading the Grand Prix. The flurry of race leaders on mediums coming in for another set of medium compound tires. My teammate, Theo Bourchier, forgot his name for a second, onto the hards. He's actually doing a different strategy to the front runners. He's actually gone to hards, and maybe, just maybe, he'll go to the end, but if not, he can actually go back to mediums to finish off this race. I like the variance in strategy there. That actually opens it up quite nicely for our teammate. He could actually win this race if fortune is on his side. There could well be a late race safety car. And if he's on mediums, he's going to be absolutely flying. But anyway, we're into the pits now for our medium compound tires. I'm not overly confident on our ability to get to the end. Sergio Perez with a 5-second penalty. Perhaps a legal overtake for the Mexican. Or speeding into the pit lane, which the AI don't tend to do. Here comes Ocon up the inside on fresher older medium compound tires. What am I saying? We'll see if we can hold him off for now, but we're trying to hold our line without causing an aeroplane crash between Norris and Ocon. We hold the inside. Norris tries to hang it around there, but it's never going to work. You are not going around the outside of me there, son. And we've held position. We've actually overcut these guys. Fresher tires in the top 10. Perez with a penalty. This is where the race starts to open up for us. Oh, no! Lando's gone for a move that he definitely shouldn't have. That might be a safety car. It is a safety car. Lando Norris is out to the Singapore Grand Prix. And just as I said, this race was going to open up for us, it did not open up for Lando Norris. That is a closing gap. That is a corner. And you don't overtake there. You absolutely do not overtake there. Let's see. Did he even get alongside? More than like 50, not even 50% of the car was alongside. He had his front wing alongside our rear tires at best. Wow. I can't believe he's gone for that. GG. Out of the Grand Prix. We've lost our wing. But that's all we've lost. I don't know. Let me know in the chat, guys. In the comments. Was that our fault? Should I have left room? In my opinion, from where I was sat, I actually thought Lando was going to back out of it there. Normally, like 9 times out of 10, or 99 times out of 100, the AI would back out of a situation like that. That's what really caught me out. The AI don't normally go for a desperate closing gap like that. In the famous words of Alex Gillen, it was my corner. Into the pit lane we go. And we are... What are we doing? Going to go back to hards? Yeah, probably hards. Change the wing. And from here, we could... Oh, we could probably go to the end from here.
That was a fantastic
no, we've gone to softs. I was looking at the lap counter. I was not looking at the tyres that I put on. I put on softs. Why have I put on softs? I don't know. I really don't know the decision making there. We're holding off. We're doing a dark chocolate at Singapore. I recorded this like weeks ago, mind you. I recorded this actually before the Creator League at Singapore. And we've done a dark chocolate tactic without even actually realizing we've done a dark chocolate. So I stayed out the extra lap and I'm actually going to hards because I think we could probably carry the hards to the end of the race. But it's going to be line ball on tire wear. You wouldn't believe it with this era of crazy degrading tires. But you know, 15, 16 laps on hards at Singapore is actually not going to be easy. So it's a bold risk, but I feel like with mediums, we'd have to box again. We'd absolutely have to box again. And it's very hard to overtake here. So my play is we be patient, we use the hards, and we just recoup all the track position as everyone else has to box again. We are counting on everyone else boxing again, even though the vast majority of people are on hards now. But we'll wait and see. We're going to be super stubborn with this. My bad. We're going to have to sack the editor. I don't know how that clip got in there. But yeah, we move on. We have not exploded. And we're going to crack on with this race. 2 spots gained already on the hard compound tires. We saw in the first lap how amazingly we cut through the field in traffic. And, well, we're doing it again. Albon caught napping into the middle sector. P18 for us. Perez looking for another move on both the Williams cars. He got Latifi. He very nearly got Piastri as well. Slots in behind, and we're going to see if we can get the GOAT himself up into overtake. Are we going to do a Lando? No, we're not, because we have patience. We have logic. We have racecrafts. We have tenacity. I can keep going. Up the inside into the hairpin after the Anderson Bridge. Thank you very much. Short shift up to third gear. Get that traction down. Latifi backs out, and that is 17th place. 11 laps remaining in the Singapore Grand Prix. Oh, Piastri has done a Piastri. This is not F1 Manager, mates. This is not F1 Manager. He's now down to last place. Sergio Perez forcing the error into turn 1. We take those. Can we get Perez as well heading into this right-hander? Yes, we can. As he's stuck behind the Alfa Romeo, we get him as well. And this race is really starting to open up for us. Whether or not they box, we're looking pretty good at this stage. The pace is amazing. As we go around the outside of Tictum, both the Haas's are getting stuck into each other, Schumacher and Russell. We do get Tictum, who backs out of it, and now we're into 14th place. So we're just going for it as if the AI aren't boxing, as if we have to make up these positions, and it's only going to look after us later. We do need to stay within 25 seconds of the race leaders. Nice dive bomb there on Schumacher, because if we wait too long, if we get held up behind these guys for too long, the race leaders, when they do eventually box, they could actually rejoin ahead of us if we lose too much time squabbling now or stuck behind back markers now. So we do need to make progress. Oh, another one. Another one. George Russell this time in the Haas. Straight on, turn 1. That's a weird place to just go flying off the track. Especially considering it's not really a, really heavy braking zone. Well, the tyre isn't that loaded heading into that corner, but we'll take those. We are now in the points again in this race, and now we're seeing more leaders in. This is the defending champion, Fernando Alonso, dominating career modes on this channel right now. Can he get another W today? Is this strat going to pay off for the AI? I don't think it will. They've got a lot of time to make up in these dying laps, and they need to pray that my tyres die off. That's my teammate, by the way, leading the Grand Prix. Was leading the Grand Prix. He was on hards compared to most people on mediums. He's actually doing the same strat as the AI. I thought maybe, just maybe, if he stretched the tires like us, we could have had a 1-2 on our hands, but that's not to be the case. He is going to finish the race on mediums and will have incredible pace, but he's got a few cars to overtake. Perez, Stroll, Zhou, Alonso, many more. Mick Schumacher out of the Grand Prix. Haas not having a good day, as Russell is way down the order as well. Thankfully, no safety car. If there's a safety car, well, it's a double-edged sword. We actually get to save our tyres, but then it brings the likes of Alonso and everyone else behind into the fray. I'm not sure how I feel about a safety car at this point. I think I'd prefer if it stayed green for the rest of this race. That Aston Martin working wonders for us, holding up Alonso in these dying laps. Alonso finally gets through for the position as we see the replay. So he has a little look up into the last corner. Not a traditional overtaking area, but the tyres on that Aston must be absolutely dead at this point. Stroll holding on for dear life, 11 seconds back. Perez and Alonso will now attempt to chase me down to steal this win away from me. 5 laps remaining in this Singapore Grand Prix, and the gap is actually stabilizing to Perez. Perez, the gap was like 5 seconds last lap. Now it's 5.5 seconds. So seemingly he's dropping off at this point, and we are settling into a nice groove. However, Alonso is still flying. Hopefully, our tyres don't fall off the cliff in these dying laps. We're pushing on as much as we humanly can. Qualifying style laps now, 39.0 on the last lap. It's actually quite a quick lap for these tyres and for their age at this point. We are just doing everything we can to hold on. Teo Porcher doing a great job there inside the top 7, I believe. Trying to make a mark on the front runners. Actually, he's not in the top 7. Forget that. He's well past that. That is the second Haas now retiring in this race. George Russell in the mud with an engine failure. And Haas come away with absolutely nothing in this Singapore Grand Prix. Penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. It is too late to get a safety car. It is green flag running to the end, and Sergio Perez is now effectively my rear gunner, holding back Alonso in these dying laps. I think he'll probably get him this next lap as we head on to the last one now. Gap is 3/10 between the two of them, and that DRS is going to be pretty potent, especially with the high downforce you see around this circuit. It really accentuates the slipstream sometimes at high downforce circuits. But who knows? He doesn't need slipstream. He just does it the old-fashioned way. Round the outside of turn 2, and that is P2 for the Spaniard in this race. Game, set, and match. Marduk Motorsport. We're just going to chill now. Tire wear is over 50%, so it was a gamble worth taking at the midway point of this race. We caused the safety car with Lando Norris. We decided to go back to the hards and just cruise to the end of the race. This is a strategy that wouldn't have otherwise normally been able to be pulled off if not for our harder compound strategy at the start of the weekend. We knew what we were doing, and we now take the Singapore Grand Prix. In the famous words of Fernando Alonso, now we can fight 1v1 for the fight in this championship. Fernando, what have you got?
They've endured the harsh conditions here in Singapore then to pull off a spectacular win. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I think the key here was just the quality of racecraft. I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I'm sure we have a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport, but it's always really gratifying to see close-foot battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula 1.
A win for Tiametmarduk, a win for Marduk Motorsport is always a great day for Formula 1. We get another win in his career mode series. It is so topsy-turvy. I can't explain. We either win races or we just bottle so hard that we just leave ourselves questioning why we even turn up sometimes. It is, thankfully, the good end of the luck today here in Singapore. Who knew a crash would lead to us winning? Certainly not me. 9/10 over Fernando Alonso. Yes, we were cruising the last 2 laps just to bring it home, really. Look after the engine, look after the car. And yeah, it is 25 points in the bag. Once again, 8 points, or 8th place rather, for Teo Porcher. He is warming to that seat. I think he's a little bit more comfortable than what Mark Webber was, even though, like, he could have maybe got a 1-2 with us this weekend. Team told him to box again for mediums at the back end. Don't blame them, to be honest. It would have been a stretch, given that he had older hards than us, but might have been worth a try. I do like that Teo did a different strategy to the AI for the most part. I want to see more of that. I'd love to see at a point in the future F1 games where we can decide our teammates' strategy, because then we would absolutely dominate races, dominate championships. But we'll have to wait for that day. 2nd place in the drivers' standings, only 3 points behind Fernando Alonso. This fight for the championship is now well and truly on. Major, or no, not even a major, ultimate front downforce upgrade coming for the next race at the Japanese Grand Prix. Only 3 points behind the drivers. This is going to be an awesome ending to this season, and I can't wait. We're a little bit far behind in the constructors. Thanks, Mark. But who knows, with those upgrades, a bit more confidence now for Teo, who's making his F1 debut. He's only been in the team for a few races now. He is only going to get stronger as we develop this car, as we develop the facilities and give him the tools he needs to get the most out of this car. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. And yeah, I'll see you guys very soon for another episode of My Team. I actually have already recorded the next race, and it is very spicy. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.